Yeah, hi guys. Quick video here before the weekend. Look at the dollar index and this area here of time, and we'll come back later and do the other section. But we're going to start with this area, and it's the same level from here, area of time, from on the wait a minute, what do we got here? Here, sorry, this needs to be moved over here. Second. Same area on all the rest of them. And then after, we'll do the entire picture. But for now, we're just doing, we're just doing this picture here. Right, so when we take this area here, we just draw what we see, and we see the dollar index. I did it earlier, so that's why it's to there, but it doesn't make any difference. We see the dollar index is up. We see, as we would expect, the dollar index up, and this is just a dollar index perspective. Remove everything else from your mind right now. As we expect, the dollar index up. Okay, let's move over. Level's already been drawn there. I've gone through them all earlier to save a bit of time here. Euro down against the dollar, well, we would expect that. Pound down against the dollar, we would expect that. And New Zealand up against the dollar, well, that can't work, can it? But the target would only so far be to here. So there's not really much juice in it from this perspective, but we will draw a wee bit of a target in here for maybe something we can work on perhaps next week if everything else comes to fruition. So now, okay, if we go to the New Zealand and the New Zealand index is up, well, then we're going to expect the New Zealand to be up also, aren't we? Well, that's okay, because remember, they always come back to these areas at some point. But like I say, when you see this, it doesn't mean just jump in. You can do, but you're going to have to suffer the margin first. We need, in order to trade this New Zealand, we need to see the double hedge set up relative to the yens, or ideally there, or something. So Kiwi is the only suspect situation here, right? So far against the dollar. So we're going to expect some Kiwi weakness at some point next week. So if you're short pound New Zealand, you should definitely start to look at getting out of that. And Aussie dollar we would expect to be down, and dollar CAD we've drawn as a green line because we obviously would expect that to be up, because that can't happen either. But when we go over to the CAD index, we see that the CAD index is up, so it can happen. But like I say, they're going to have to come back here at some point, and they will. The question is when at the moment, because this has only just been developing. We have to go back here and find more information. It's like we're looking for cases here. We're looking for the truth. We're building a case to make a trade. We check that off, we check that off, we check that off, and then we go from there. We don't just see this and jump in. Um, it's just not the way to do it. We're trying to be like a think of it like being a lawyer. Um, we're building a case for why, when, and how to expect the next move. Because this is what we've seen in the dollar now. We would never, had we not have been looking at the yens last week from this same perspective, we would never have had any clue as to why the dollar index went up so much this week. Just no clue, okay? You can go back and look at all your indicators and all your pivot points and all your support and resistance nonsense for the next 20 years. It will be a different outcome every time. Then, anyway, I'm not going to talk about it. So, we are expecting euro strength. So, given the fact that it's the weekend coming, I'd like to cash out a bit here. So, we're going to do that right now. And the pound, you know, we're expecting red. So we're not going to bother touching this. We can leave that one. And if the New Zealand dollar does indeed go down later on, then that will mean there's a strong dollar on that, or not necessarily a strong dollar because it may be going down on New Zealand weakness, but that will give lift to the dollar during that time. So maybe we'll get a bit more out of this pound, and with the euro pound situation, that it's likely to go higher. Then I do believe we're going to hold this one here. Let's move on, and we'll go and look at the next currencies. Hang on. Actually, sorry. Before I do that, let's just add this perspective in as well. Let me straighten this back up. Let's just add this in quickly here. This area of time, and we'll go to here where we're looking at. So that will be our major, and that will be our local. From what we can see, right, on this fractal, we can go back and zoom out and do the daily and whatever time frame you want to do. But we're doing this during this particular video. So if the dollar index is up long term, then how can the USD Swiss be down? Well, that's why we're going to draw that as a green line, because we know that this move is indeed fake, and it's going to have to at least come up back up to this level of time where we can see here. We're almost there, but you know, next week we're going to anticipate more, and that will help out our Aussie Swiss and the Euro Swiss there. So that's good. That's what we're looking for. So we can put that in as another target. All right, that's that. What we were just doing there is we were looking at this part here plus this part here. So the entire picture now, because we can't take that out of our minds. Now, is euro dollar doing what it's supposed to? Well, let's go back to this area of time. Okay, so the euro should be down. It is down. Okay, great. Put that in as red. So we should be only selling from this perspective. Which you know, and that sounds right. That's why we're thinking pull back up to here to allow the other trades to work out, and then maybe down later on. So pound maybe does the lower high, while euro does the higher low. Sorry, higher high. There's always one that does something fake. Um, Now let's go back here to the Kiwi. Well, we would expect this to be down. So why on earth is it up? That means that's going to have to come down. Where's the target there? It's where we have it. So we'll leave that. Pound, I believe, is up relative to this area of time. It doesn't really matter at that point, but you see, we need to be putting a red line. So the major is still down. All right, that's good. So that's helps our trade out now. We've got a case here. We've got one case, two case, three case, four cases. We're building up a case to why we should continue to be long the dollar. Now let's move over to these guys. Okay, this area, that's where we can see, okay, the dollar CAD should be up, right? So we need to draw a green line, and it is indeed up. So that's okay. There's nothing really to discuss there. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but we wouldn't buy this. We're late to the boat, aren't we? And the dollar, the Aussie dollar, is kind of slightly up, you know, but from where we can see, so that needs to be a red because that's what we're expecting. There might be a little bit of weakness here in the Aussie to come next week, but yeah, that's it. So we'll move over now and have a quick look at the other currencies. One second. All right, guys. So here's the New Zealand here. Draw this new one. Same deal again. We'll do this section here, and then we'll do the other section after. What have we got here? Well, this is the New Zealand index, so so this is up. So we're going to expect everything else New Zealand based to be up. So this is good. This is good. It's doing what it's supposed to be. Move over here. Pound New Zealand, obviously that's the reverse because it's not New Zealand pound, is it? It's pound New Zealand. This was New Zealand pound. This chart from here to here would be going up, but it's the other way around. So we've got it. The reason why we color code it is because we know we're doing this is what it's supposed to be doing. So red is what it's supposed to be doing, given the fact that the New Zealand index itself is up. Now. Same deal with Euro New Zealand. It's down. That's what we would expect. New Zealand yen is up. Okay, because it's green. That's what we would expect. All right, so that is all lining up as doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then the other two, we would expect Aussie to be down against the New Zealand, and then we would expect New Zealand to be up against the Swiss, and that's what we're seeing. Now this really is up against the Swiss because the Swiss index is down. Plus the Swiss index has a fake move underway with the Euro Swiss, which means that this really is real. Okay, so stay away from selling this. It's not a good idea. All right, next. Oh, let's do the larger perspective. So New Zealand index is up. That's great. That's going to show us a little bit more to our case. You know, and again, these lines that I'm drawing are nothing more than an illusion. It's all bullshit. The moving averages, same nonsense. Just look at the price from there to there, and you can see with your eyes it's up. That's all you need to know. The reason why we're doing the lines is to scale it, as our memories are terrible. We can't come in tomorrow and remember everything. We use this to write notes. That's all it is. We're writing notes on the board, like in school. Okay, New Zealand CAD up. Kiwi up against the dollar. Okay, so that's what we would expect. Perfect. Next. Pound New Zealand on the top here. Euro New Zealand in the middle, if you guys can't see it. But it should be coming out clearer. I'm screenshotting a smaller section of the screen, so I'm hoping it's going to come out a bit sharper, the numbers and stuff. So from back here, what are we expecting? Well, New Zealand should be up. Okay, it's up against the yen. Perfect. Euro New Zealand is down, obviously, because the New Zealand index is up. So we can change that color for red. That's doing what it's supposed to be. Check. And the pound from over there is also doing what it's supposed to be doing. We don't have any trades, just New Zealand, um, mapped out really from this perspective. All right, what have we got here? Bring over the index again, just so everyone remembers. That index is up. Okay, this area of time, New Zealand is up by the looks of it against the Swiss, which is what we would expect. You see, there's a slight slant to that. Yeah, we may come back down here later. There may be something that we're missing and all that stuff. No problem. But for now, this is what's happening. All right. Oh shoot. Hang on. Here it is. Down. That's what we would expect. The Aussie should be down against the New Zealand because of its New Zealand long-term strength. So all that checks out. Before we go on, let's take this, as it's Friday, make sure we get the situation with our statement figured out, see if we actually made any money again this week, and then that'll be good here. So we got 90,000 in floating loss. We're at 705,000 now. And that's our profit for the last however long we've been doing this, 2 weeks, 544,000. So I mean, you can see everything there, guys. Everything's 22. There was a couple of twos with the crypto, but you know, Neo, everything's good here. Okay, so we'll see how if we can continue this ride all the way to 5.7 million. Let's do the detailed report. Oh. All right, while it's doing that, we'll flip this over. Oh, hang on. yes, save. I guess that pound CAD hit our stop, our trailed stop. All right, here it is. All right, so we'll see if we can continue this. I mean, that's all I can say so far. But last couple of weeks, I'm pretty happy about it. It looks like we've got light at the end of the tunnel at last. All right. Let me just go over and we'll do one more index, and that'll be a wrap. New Zealand. Well, the next one in line is obviously the yen. So what I could do is break this video up. I'll do the yens, and then we'll do the others after on another video over the weekend, I guess. All right, yen's coming. All right, yens are here now. Same area of time, obviously. LFX is actually sideways. Okay, so if the LFX is sideways, then basically that means from here to here, the underlying deal is it's a chop deal, a balanced scenario. So anything that's gone up against that will need to come back down at some point. So that's CAD yen and dollar yen also. So that will be 1, 2. That's adding to our case of yens coming down later. Doesn't mean we're going to sell these two, no. It just means we now have another part of the case added up, because we ultimately want to change this target from being orange, where it was, to white. So let's move these over. So what are we expecting? Everything should be sideways at this point. We've got euro that's actually come down against the sideways LFX. Well, that means that might have to come up at some point. Well, that's good, because that lines up with our potential euro strength that we've been talking about the last couple of days. Or anticipation of euro strength. So that's good. And then the other ones, that may mean there's more juice in the euro in the LFX to the upside, but we know that this balance of chop needs to continue playing out. Aussie has gone, sideways, so that's in line with what it's supposed to do. This New Zealand will have to come down at some point. So I mean, it can go up a couple more levels, and that's okay, because we're not fully loaded on this yet. Once we're fully loaded on that, we'll do videos on that. But that's not until not just yet. And then the long-term perspective, let's not forget that it's just up, okay? CAD yen up. Okay, that's in agreement. The dollar yen is up. Okay, great, that's in an agreement. Um, Swiss yen is up. Excellent. All right. So far, what we're seeing is nothing longer term to suggest even considering going crazy on selling these yens yet. That's why we had them orange, the targets, so don't forget that. So any of you guys that decided to load up crazy on these yens earlier on this week, if you did, well, that's your fault. So this is good. And this is good. So our saving grace here is the developing localized level, which will need to play out at some stage, and that's why we're doing this. So can't give you a timeline yet. Can't do that yet. Not on these. I have to sit it out. Wait for the Swisses to do its thing. We want to start seeing the Swiss start to come down now. The yen, Swiss yen. Once that starts to go and they all start to follow it, um, then this will be good. But then we can't forget the fact that we've got this underlying long-term up move still going. So that'll be that, guys. I hope the video helped. Cheers.